Hey there, this is Lynn. Happy Monday. Today is Weigh-In Monday, and I just completed my 38th week. My goodness, it's getting to be so much, I keep forgetting how many weeks it's been, but 38 weeks on the carnivore diet. My official start date, for those of you who are new, my official start date for the carnivore diet was May 29th. I think it was May 29th, last year, 2023. And I'll do just a quick recap. I weighed close to 350 pounds at my very top weight, but I had gone on the carnivore diet before, lost some weight, and then I regained a lot of it. So my initial weight was probably over 340, but I didn't weigh in until 2 days after I started the carnivore diet. So my official initial weigh-in weight is 339.6. So I have been tracking. Every Monday, I've been doing a weigh-in and I've been reporting on how I'm doing. Now, morbid obesity is one of many health issues I've had. The biggest issue with me has been mast cell activation syndrome. I was diagnosed in March of 2022, and also a related condition called hereditary alpha tryptophanemia. But that diagnosis was close to 35 years in the making. It was not known about until maybe 10 plus years ago. And I've been experiencing symptoms since I was about 20 years old, and I'm now 55. So I'm almost 56. So it was a long road, decades long road of a lot of health issues. So if you are new to the channel, you may be new because you saw me on somebody else's channel. This past week, I had 3 different interviews. Now, at this point, 2 of them have been published. One of them was a live stream. One of them on Controlled Health with Andrea Lee dropped today, and then another one's going to drop next month. But I've had several interviews on different channels, so you might have found me that way, or you might have found me through my channel. So anyways, I want to welcome all of you who are new, and comment below. Let me know how you found me, and I'm so happy to have you here. But it was a good week, so I'm just going to recap how things went this week. Now last week, and I'm stumbling over my words because I have so much to say, but last week blew my mind because I had a big drop in weight. And now I do use a body composition scale to weigh myself, and I get a bunch of metrics and I report on those metrics every Monday. And when I report my weight loss, I report it 2 ways. I report the scale loss, but factoring in all the metrics from my body composition scale, I also report my actual fat loss. So last week, my weight loss was over 5 pounds. But then by the time you factor in that I gained more bone, I gained more muscle, my actual fat loss was 6.4 pounds. And I was really blown away. I was thinking, oh, this is just an anomaly. This can't be right. So I was really curious to find out what happened this week, because I figure, well, if it was just a strange anomaly and it was something weird going on in my body or problem with my scale or whatever, I expect that this week my weight will kind of go back up and, kind of go to where it should have been if I had my normal, like maybe 2-pound weight loss per week. So I was really curious to see what happened this week. Now, activity-wise, I have been a little more sedentary than usual. And I know I have a step challenge going on this month. I have been doing dreadfully on my step challenge. And I hate to make excuses. I really do, because I did amazing on my plank challenge last month. And I knew that this step challenge was going to be difficult for me because I have been living a sedentary lifestyle for so long because my mast cell activation syndrome wipes me out. And I have lived my whole life where I give everything I can to work, and then I come home and I collapse. And I have nothing left to give. So actually being able to get up and do things and exercise is pretty new for me. So I'm sure that when I was down with my on disability initially, when I had my huge flare of mast cell activation syndrome, my steps, may have been maybe 100 a day. I don't know. Get up, go to the restroom, find my way to the living room, lay around, watch TV, maybe go to the restroom a couple more times, maybe go to the kitchen and grab something to eat, usually garbage. That was my day pretty much, because I had nothing, and I couldn't hardly walk. I was in pain. I reacted to so many things. I was always afraid to go out and do anything because my throat would swell. I'd get dizzy. I'd get nauseated. So it was not a life. So this challenge is difficult for me. But I have been mindful, and I've been working on getting my steps in. Now, I'm going to embarrass myself, which I frequently do on this channel. So this is not new for me, but I figure I'm going to be completely transparent, and I'm going to embarrass myself. I have a history, and I don't know if it's related to my condition or if it's just related to my skin. I don't know, but I know my dad had the same issue of getting boils. They're painful. Yeah, anyways. I have a boil and a crease down in the groin area, and it came up this week, and I've been nursing it, and it's painful. It's been impairing my walking. So I think that's all I need to say. If you've ever had a boil, they are not comfortable at all, and I'm looking forward to the day where I don't have to deal with them anymore. Honestly, on the carnivore diet, I have rarely had them, but they still occasionally pop up here and there. So anyways, that's my embarrassing myself for today, at least as far as I know. Who knows? I may say something else that's embarrassing. Oh yeah, that's right. We got to talk about poop. Can't forget that. I've had something good happen this week in the area of bowel movements, but I have to kind of give you a little bit of a background on it. I had stopped drinking coffee. And when I got on the Lion diet and really eliminated a lot of those higher histamine foods that were causing me issues, my bowel frequency went way down. And I wasn't uncomfortable. I wasn't bloated. I wasn't in pain. But I was only having a bowel movement maybe every 7 to 10 days. And sometimes a little longer than that. I just figured I'm probably not drinking enough water, not eating enough fat. And I do struggle with eating enough fat. And then I did stop coffee, and then I tried it again and was putting half and half in it and putting monk fruit drops in it, and I was having issues. So I stopped that again. Well, me and coffee. I love coffee. I just had to. And a lot of you commented and said, oh, don't necessarily give up on coffee. Don't just completely, write off coffee, because you may be okay with coffee. So I figured, okay, I'm going to try coffee again. So I did try coffee again, and I did fine with it. So I'm like, okay, we'll see. And I'm really watching my rosacea, and I do have a little spot here, just a tiny little spot here, but overall my rosacea is doing good. And so I actually kind of staggered every few days what I added to the coffee, and so I started to add heavy cream, because I noticed before when I was having coffee, initially, I was using heavy whipping cream, and I was doing fine. And it wasn't until I added the half and half that I started having issues. So I figured, well, let's try adding heavy cream again. And so I did fine. So I'm like, okay, let's try something else. So I decided to go ahead and make myself my buttered coffee. Now, with that, I'm not using butter. I'm using ghee, because ghee has fewer of the reactive proteins in it. And so I figured, well, I'm going to try it with ghee. And then I also have chocolate flavored Element. And I wasn't sure how things were going to go with that, but I figured, well, let's just give it a try. So I've been making my buttered coffee not every day, but during this past week, maybe 4 times. I have it right here. It is delicious. Yum. Okay. So anyways, so I put the coffee, some heavy whipping cream, 1 packet of the chocolate Element, and maybe a teaspoon of ghee, organic ghee, in that coffee, and whiz it up in my magic bullet. Anyways, so I've been having that. My bowels are so happy. I have been having bowel movements almost every day. Like, what? Like, obviously, as long as I'm not having mast cell reactions to any of the ingredients in this, and I'm going to be watching, But as long as I'm not, if it's going to get my bowels moving, and my bowels like that extra fat first thing in the morning, then I guess I'm going to keep doing it. And as long as it's not I don't think it's not going to make me gain weight. I mean, I'm staying in ketosis. I'm still on a, no carb diet. But anyways, so far I'm happy, and I'm really I'm watching my rosacea, because I really feel that my rosacea is an indication of how things are going in my gut. And if my gut is happy, and your gut is full of histamine receptors. And so when I have a mast cell issue, very often it will show up in my gut with gut pain. And a lot of, especially with food, and sometimes with food I do have throat swelling, but usually my throat swelling is with heat, UV rays, EMF, like sound vibrations, and chemicals that I smell or inhale. Those are the types of things that will mostly cause my throat swelling. Occasionally it will happen with food. But anyways, yeah, so I think that's it for all the embarrassing talk. Between the boil and the poop, I think I've covered enough embarrassing things for one day. Anyways, I've got some notes here just as, okay. So anyway, so you know why I've been doing poorly on my step challenge. I am rebounding, and I kind of overdid it a little bit earlier this week. It is so easy to do for me. And I know that, so I've been doing the lymphatic, the process, the 6-step process for getting my lymph system open. And I'm going to have to post a link to the video that I'm using below, because I can never remember the guy's last name, but his name is Perry. And one of you told me about him. Anyways, the proper way to open up the channels of your lymphatic system. And I love it. I love his method, because you don't have to dry brush. You don't have to, you can, but you don't have to dry brush. You don't have to take off your clothes. You don't have to, worry about all that. And you can just do it. It takes like 30 seconds, maybe a little bit more. And so open up the lymphatic pathways, get that lip flowing, and then rebound. So I have been doing that. And my ability to rebound has increased. And then, of course, earlier this week, I overdid it. It's so fun. Like, my husband looks at me and goes, "You're smiling." And I said, "Of course, how could you not smile when you're bouncing? Of course you're going to smile." It's fun, and it's easy to overdo it. And, these people that go like crazy up in the air and stuff, unless you're super, super healthy, you don't just go from being in my condition to bouncing like that. Like, seriously, I can't do that. I'm just kind of bouncing. And I did get airborne for a while earlier this week, and I really think I overdid it. And I got that lymphatic flow, probably too much toxin going into my system. And I end up wiped out and exhausted, and have a little bit more joint pain. And so got to drink lots of water, flush it out. I don't learn. Seriously, I don't learn. When I'm enjoying what I'm doing, I have a hard time restraining myself and pulling myself back in. Anyways, one of these days, hopefully I will learn, but I can't give you any guarantees, because I do tend to get really caught up in what I'm doing, and then I overdo it. So anyways, but the rebounding is definitely good. I'm loving it. And it may be what caused my big weight drop last week. Who knows? My sleep apnea is still doing great. Haven't slept with my CPAP machine for 3 weeks now. My watch says my sleep is great. My O2 sats are great. I'm not having awakenings. My husband's still watching my breathing and says it's regular and no snoring. And yeah, I'm not getting those sleep apnea headaches. Like if my mask was leaking a lot and I wasn't getting that good flow, I'd wake up with a headache and I'd be like hit a wall of exhaustion, and that's not happening. So that's good news. One thing I'm noticing based on the report that I'm getting on my smartwatch is that my REM sleep is typically low, and it doesn't seem to be impacted so much by the length of time that I sleep. It just occasionally it's okay, but lots of times it's low. And I really think it's because I'm very inconsistent with when I'm getting to bed. And I've done a little bit of reading on REM sleep and how to improve REM sleep. And the first thing on the list is be consistent. So I think that's a health goal I need to work towards, because REM sleep is really important for your brain. And my brain can use all the help it can get, because with mast cell disease, brain fog is a big deal. I'm so glad I've gotten over the brain fog. Last thing I need is to start having brain issues again, because I'm not getting enough REM sleep. So I struggle with getting to sleep at night. And it's not because I lay there awake and can't sleep. It's because I'm doing it to myself, because I actually have energy and I actually have an active, like, clear mind now. And I get so caught up in things I'm doing, I just don't want to stop. Whether it be reading, whether it be, whatever I'm doing, I don't want to stop. And I'm not just sitting there like watching movies and stuff. I'm actually doing things. Now, one thing, I have been less active on my channel this past week. Like I said, I did 3 interviews, but on other people's channels. But the big thing is I've been working a lot more this week on the Healing Humanity documentary. And if you don't know this, I am the production coordinator for the upcoming Healing Humanity, The Power of the Proper Human Diet documentary. It is being spearheaded by Carrie Mann from Homestead How. Adam Lacey from Carnivore Today is a key player in this, and there's a whole bunch of us here that are on, have YouTube channels that are playing different roles in getting this documentary going. And so my key role right now is to find the people who are going to be in the documentary. So we've got tons of submissions. We've been connecting with all of the carnivore doctors. I sent out emails to all of them this week, letting them know what we're looking for in candidates for the documentary. So I'm just busy, really busy, and it's been good. And I'm really excited about the documentary. And some of you may be candidates. You may have already put your application in, and we're not just looking for people who have had a long carnivore journey. We're looking for people who are just starting on their carnivore journey and are passionate and committed and are willing to let us film them. So it's challenging trying to find the right people, but it's been fun, and it's something that I'm very passionate about, and it's something that I think is going to be huge. And I'm really happy to be working on it, but there's times where I do have to juggle, working on that versus working on my channel. Now, I am going to be posting within the next day or so. I'm going to be posting a video about my tilt table test results. I've had the results for a little while, but I had to do some communication with the cardiologist that I saw. And so I finally heard back from him on Friday. And so I'm going to be posting a video sharing what I've learned from the study that was done. Okay, I think that's it as far as what I've been doing. I've been busy, but I've been a little more sedentary, as I've been doing a lot of computer work. And I'm also reading, actually I don't have it with me, but I'm reading Dr. Georgia Eadie's book, Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind. Carrie Mann and I are supposed to be doing a book review later this month. I'm probably going to have to remind him, let him know that I am reading the book. And so I've got it's a thick book, and it's a very good book. So I'm learning a lot, but I've been working on reading that as well. And I've got my book club on Sundays, Sunday afternoons at 2 p.m. Pacific time. We are reading Ken Berry's book, and I do have that one here. So this is the book that we're going through, Ken Berry's book, Lies My Doctor Told Me. Very good book, full of really good information. Everybody should read this and know it's not just about nutrition. It's about a bunch of stuff. So it's very good. And it's good to know, like, all these different myths and things that we've been told that aren't true. So, and as a retired nurse, I actually knew a lot of them already, but there's some in there that I didn't know. And the more I'm in the carnivore lifestyle, the more I'm learning about things that are not true, like the LDL cholesterol and, eating meat being so bad for you. And there's a lot of things that I'm learning. Okay, so on to my results. And sorry, I'm shaking the table because I'm just like picking up my notebook and I'm like knocking things around. So I apologize for the shaky. This time it's not Max. Usually it's Max, my dog, bumping stuff, but this time it's me. Okay, so on to my results. So this is what I was really anxious to find out. It's like, was last week an anomaly? Am I going to gain weight to kind of adjust back to where I was supposed to be? No, I'm I'm so happy. Anyways, let's go. I weighed in this morning at 263.8, 2 pounds down from last week. So last week I had that big drop. I weighed in at 265.8. I'm a whole 2 pounds down on the scale. So no, I did not gain back any of that weight. I guess it was real. Yay. I'm so happy. My fat-free body weight. Now, for those of you who are new, I look at my fat-free body weight, and all these metrics, I'm not really looking at the percentages, because those percentages are going to adjust up and down depending on what the absolute values do. So I'm really just looking at the absolute values. So my fat-free body weight this week went up by just 0.4. And when you look at the breakdown, 0.2 of that is muscle, and my bones stayed the same. Now, last week I had an increase in bone, which is great. And so the other 0.2 is probably fluid, water. And so, which is fine. And as you know, if you've been following me for a while, my water usually goes up and down 0.2, up and down from week to week. And so, yeah. So that's good. So that means my actual fat loss for the week was 2.4 pounds. So I'm like right on track with the way things were before. And I know, so that was not an anomaly. Apparently it was real, and I'm continuing to lose weight. So since the beginning, my first weigh-in, which was May 31st of 2023, my scale loss is 75.8 pounds. I have gained 24.8 pounds of good tissue, which is incredible. So that means, now this is what I'm going to celebrate. Yay! My fat loss is now 100.6 pounds. Woohoo! I have broken the 100-pound mark for fat loss. I don't care what my scale says, because my scale, even though my scale is great, it has me at 75.8 pounds down. That's unbelievable. That's fantastic. But the fat is what I care about. I'm gaining muscle. I'm gaining bone. So that's going to offset my scale loss. I'm gaining the good tissue. So what I really care about is my actual fat loss. How much fat am I losing? I have reached the 100-pound mark for fat loss. So I am super excited. This, to me, is a huge milestone. One of these days, the scale will say I've lost 100 pounds as well. But again, my body composition is what I'm really following. I'm not really following so much what does the darn scale say, because it's not really reflective of what's going on in my body. And if you're just using your scale, that's fine. But if you don't want to buy a body composition scale, that's fine too. Now mine was like, I think when I bought it, it was on sale, so it was less than $20. I think now it's maybe 20 or $22, something like that. It's cheap. And I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. Same thing with my smartwatch that tracks my steps, tracks my sleep. I did not go out and buy an Apple Watch. I bought an inexpensive smartwatch, and I read the reviews, good reviews, and so far it's been great. It doesn't do absolutely everything that the Apple Watch does, but it does enough for me. I can even get notifications of like texts and just different things that come in, and it checks my O2 stats. It tracks all sorts of stuff. So I'm happy with it. I'll put a link in the description for the watch as well, in case you want to check it out. I have noticed one thing though, and I may buy a different one, because when I do walk, like my husband and I go for walks together, and my steps are accurate, but I think it's calculating my stride as too big. Because when we go for a walk together, we look at the total distance on his watch, and he has the same watch as I do. His distance is different than mine. I looked at the details, because when I go and I track an activity, and I can go ahead and tell it, yeah, let's start an outdoor walk, and it'll start the timer, it'll start tracking everything, and then when we're done, I can look at all the metrics that it collects, and like his watch will say we walked like 1.5 miles, and my watch will say we walked 3 miles. So all this time I'm saying, oh yeah, I'm walking 3 miles. I'm probably only walking 1.5 miles, but I'll scroll kind of down and I'll look at it, and it says my stride is like 42 inches. No, it's not. No. That would be like someone who's a runner. My stride is not big. I do not take large steps. So anyways, I think that's the issue. I did send them an email and ask them if there's a way that it can be recalibrated and fixed. But if it doesn't, I'm going to spend the $20 and go get another one. It's not a big deal because obviously his watch works. So I'm not going to go out and buy an Apple Watch just because of that. I figure, well, his watch works fine. And so I may just, if I can't figure it out, I'm going to go ahead and just, buy another one. No big deal. Anyways, where was I? Okay, so I'm looking at my BMI and it started out at 51.5. It is now 40.0. So I'm like right there with my BMI getting into the 30s. It's still way too high. But again, it started out at 51.5. So I'm probably, within the next week, hopefully the next week, maybe the following week, who knows, my BMI is going to be in the 30s. Yay! I love to celebrate these things. My visceral fat is still 21. And again, it's been very, very consistent. It's like every 4 weeks. I go for like 4 weeks at one point, and then it drops down. And I have not seen a difference with the rebounder and decreasing the visceral fat. I didn't see any difference with doing the planks. It's just doing its own thing. But it is coming down. It started at 30. I need to get to 15 to be at the upper end of the acceptable range for me. And I'm getting there. So my thought is I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because it is decreasing and that's the fat around my organs. So I need to lose that. I need to get that into an acceptable range. Let's see, I already covered my muscle mass, my bone mass. And I'm so happy that my bone is increasing. My metabolic rate is slowly increasing every time I lose weight. My metabolic rate goes up a little bit, and that stupid darn metabolic age still thinks I'm 62. It just goes to show how much weight I still have to lose. I mean, even though I'm 263.8 pounds, basically 264 pounds, that's heavy. I mean, it's still morbidly obese. Okay, my screen froze. My computer said, you're talking too much. And it's correct. I am talking too much. Some weeks I'm like the last week I had like a 6-minute video or something. It was not very long. This week I'm so excited and I have so much to say. But anyways, I'm very morbidly obese. So my metabolic age is probably not going to go down anytime soon. I really think that I'm going to have to get a lot of these metrics out of the too high range and start to get them into the acceptable range before I start to see a change in that metabolic age. I have learned to just let it go. I'm 55. I know I'm 55. I know I'm not 62. Oh my gosh. And as you can see, my rosacea is looking amazing. I got the one little spot here, but my rosacea, my gut is obviously happy. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, keep reporting back to you guys, and hopefully soon I'll be able to get back into working on my steps. And I thank you, those of you who have been doing the steps with me and offering encouragement, but I wanted to let you know why I haven't been doing so well. All right. That's it for today. I hope everyone is having an absolutely wonderful day. Keep an eye out over the next day or so for my tilt table test results. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.